All right, I think we're about ready to get started with the meeting. So if you've joined us today, this is a virtual meeting for the Brentwood Water and Wastewater Renewal project. We have a team here that I think we'd like to introduce. I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to Emily Chancellor, who is the PIO, the Public Information Officer for the Austin Water Department. So Emily, I'm gonna go ahead and hand things over to you.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you everyone for joining us. We've been working hard to bring this meeting to you, and we hope it goes quickly and seamlessly. Just to let you know our agenda for tonight, we'll be doing welcome and logistics, then our project team introductions, then our project manager will give an overview of the project, and then we will answer your questions and conclude the meeting. Working on getting my next slide. Here it is. So I'm Emily Chancellor. I handle community outreach for Austin Water, and the project and that team and I are all working from home under the stay home, work safe orders to bring you this online engagement opportunity. So if you hear noise in the background, a dog barking or something like that, that's why we're all working from home and bringing this to you. We've done a lot of practice runs, and we hope this will be very informative and a seamless session for you. We've learned a few things and are working to adapt to bringing you meetings online. First, we know we always need a backup. So you heard earlier from my colleague Matt Hart, who's with the Public Works Department, and he's helping to produce this meeting. And if for some reason my connection drops, he will step in and moderate the meeting and take over. We've also learned that there are glitches in technology, and so if you have a glitch in your technology and you aren't able to hear us or you aren't able to submit your questions, then don't worry, we will be giving you other opportunities to learn about the project. We will post this presentation, a recording of the meeting, on the project website, and we also will provide our contact information. So you can contact us directly with your questions if you aren't able to get through on the meeting. So just a couple of logistics to cover. All of the attendees are muted. You won't be able to speak during the meeting, but you are able to send us your questions. So you should see on the right side of your screen this Ask a Question button. I know we've already received a few questions since the meeting started, and we welcome you to type in any of your feedback or questions there, and we'll answer them at the end of the meeting. If you have specific questions about your property, you're welcome to put those in there also and give us your contact information, and we won't discuss those in the public meeting, but we'll follow up with you later to talk about, give the information you need. So I want to thank you for joining us this evening, and I'm going to hand it over to our project manager now, Michael Singleton.
Thank you, Emily. Hello, my name is Mike Singleton. I'm the project manager with Public Works for this project, and if there's any questions or concerns any of you have, you're always welcome to reach out to me. Our first point of contact is our on-site inspector, Carlos Garza, who can introduce himself next.
I'm going to be the point of contact out in the field, so if you have any questions or concerns, you can reach me through my cell phone or text or email, whichever is convenient for you, but I'll be on site and available for any questions you might have.
Good evening. My name is Deidre Kirk. I'm a project manager with Austin Water. As sponsor for the Brentwood project, it is my responsibility to ensure funding is in place to complete the project. Additionally, I will make sure technical questions receive timely responses. Next, we have Emily Chancellor.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily Chancellor. I mentioned earlier that I handle communications for the project, so I'll be sending out updates by email. We'll be updating the website, and you can always contact me if you have questions about the project, and I can get you to the right technical person on our staff. Really look forward to working with you all, and thanks for joining tonight.
And Santa Clara Construction won the contract through the competitive bid process. We've had some technical issues getting their project manager, Diego Ratchford, on this call. Although if there are any questions that you have for the contractor, please reach out to us. We'll be sure to post them on the website and get back to you directly with any questions or concerns you may have.
And then our last introduction will be Monica Suarez.
Good evening, my name is Monica Suarez. I work for Parsons and I am the design engineer for the project.
Thank you all for doing the introductions, and now we'll let Mike give some information about the project.
Thanks, Emily. So the project was born out of the Renewing Austin program, which is an Austin water program that is used to replace aging infrastructure. It upgrades aging water lines, and it's to keep pace with the infrastructure demands of our growing city. And how Austin Water determines where these projects need to be constructed is from maintenance calls and emergency line breaks. And they use that information to identify and prioritize replacement of aging pipelines every year. And a little about this project: it's going to replace approximately 9,500 linear feet of water lines and approximately 6,500 linear feet of wastewater lines. In addition, there will be approximately 1,200 linear feet of wastewater main that will be lined, so it'll be rehabilitated instead of replaced, bringing the total wastewater footage rehabilitated or replaced to about 8,900 linear feet. To give a little insight onto the timeline of the project, we went through the design process that was finished at the end of 2019, and the project was bid out to contractors and awarded the construction project to Santa Clara Construction in the spring of this year, and construction will start next month. You may have already noticed some city crew or the contractor in your area taking pictures and getting a few preparatory things set up at the current moment. This is an overview map, basically a schematic of what we plan to replace in the project area. As you can see, there are some blue lines and green lines and a yellow and orangish one. And the blue lines represent where wastewater mains will be replaced, and the green lines represent the wastewater mains that will be replaced, and the orangish yellow line represents where the wastewater main will be lined. And the streets that will be impacted during this project include Brentwood and Arcadia primarily, but also Goodnight, Arroyo Seco, Alegria, Grover, Karen, Alcove, Woodrow, and Alguno. And during construction, what you'll be able to expect is that the contractor is going to need to use heavy equipment to dig trenches for the new water and wastewater lines. After they complete replacing one of those mains, they'll put a patch over the trench, and then once the project is complete, the roadways will be completely repaved. Most of the work is in the right-of-way, and that is typically between the outside edge of sidewalk on both sides of the street. And in that area, you may consider it to be your lawn, but it is in the right-of-way, and you may need to remove landscaping or other personal items that are in the right-of-way before the service can be reconnected. We'll also close some lanes of traffic, but we'll never close entire streets. You'll always have access to your home, and for brief periods, driveway access may be limited. There are water services that will be reconnected, so at some point, your water will be turned off to make that connection, but it's only going to probably be just a few hours. Often it's less than 3, and it'll be on a single day, and you'll be notified via flyers posted on your door prior to the water being turned off. And our work hours are typically Monday through Friday from 8 to 6. There may be times that it's from 7 to 7, but never outside of that. And one of the things I wanted to make sure I pointed out was that if there's ever a time that we're outside of work hours and you guys notice some type of disruption to your service, please call Austin Water right away. The number to contact them is the Austin Water dispatch is at 512-972-1000. And also, you'll have access to your homes and driveways at all times, except when the construction trench is right in front of your driveway, and that'll be temporary just for a few hours, and you'll be notified well ahead of time of that impact. During construction, we're taking many precautions for COVID-19. Austin Water construction projects support critical infrastructure, and they're for the health and safety of our community, and therefore the construction activities are allowed to proceed under current City of Austin restrictions. The safety requirements that are in place include workers wearing face coverings and maintaining a 6-foot physical distance. Sites with more than 10 active workers must stagger their shifts. All sites must begin each workday with safety briefings that include reminders of the COVID-19 safety requirements and a check of personal protective equipment. Hand washing is required, and hand washing stations and restroom facilities must be at least 6 feet apart, and work sites must provide single-use disposable paper towels and no-touch trash receptacles. And if you're interested, you can go to the project website at austintexas.gov/brentwoodwater and sign up for the newsletter, and we'll send you updates on what's going on in your area. And you'll always be notified at least 48 hours in advance before a planned water shutout. And the project inspector, Carlos Garza, will leave a notice on your front door. And I'm going to turn it over to Emily, who's going to moderate our question and answer. So if there's any questions that you have right now, please type them into the box.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, we do have several questions posted already. The first one is, how will residents of apartment complexes be notified if water shut off if it's being shut off?
We will post notices on your door and let you know when that's going to occur.
And I know on other projects I've worked on, we try to work with the apartment management and we let them know, and if they have a way to contact residents, they'll usually email it out or let folks know. So we will do that outreach for sure. Our next question is, will water be cut off during this? And if so, how much notice will be given? I think let's just elaborate on that a little more.
Sure. For most connections, it's 48 hours, and Carlos can speak to his method of distributing those notices.
Yeah, typically I'll just walk up to your door and I'll knock on it to see if anyone's home, and if so, I can verbally tell you what when we're planning on shutting the water off, and if not, and then I'll just leave a rolled up flyer on your door, and to let you know what's going on, basically.
This might be a good time to talk about, so that's the planned water shutoffs, and that's when the contractor will be connecting your water meter to the new water line. There are times when, because we're updating old infrastructure, there are times when the old line that's in service could break. And so when that happens, the contractor gets to work right away to get it fixed as quickly as possible. But it's because it's an emergency break, you won't be notified in advance. Is there anything you want to add on that, Carlos, how that typically goes?
No, I think you pretty well covered it. You know, we do the best we can in those unplanned circumstances, and you know, that's the best we can do, and hopefully it doesn't cause too big of an inconvenience in those types of situations. But you know, hopefully those are non-existent during this particular stretch of work.
Right. Okay, so I have the next question. I have a new build planned for the second half of the year. What's the best way to confirm when an open trench will be in front of my property or available for my property? So I think that's a question about the schedule and when we'll be working in a particular place on the project.
Yeah, this is Mike. We have a project schedule, and what the best way to find that out would be to contact me directly. On the last slide, which is right after this, there, thank you. You can see my phone number, my office number, and my email address. Just give me a call or email me. Best way would be to email me, and we can coordinate where we plan on being in construction wise, and look at your what your schedule is and let you know when we're going to be in front of your property. That's the best way.
Great. Our next question, will the construction remove or impact the new sidewalks adjacent to the curb line and or the curbs themselves?
In some places, when we cut new service lines to the properties, we destroy the curb and the sidewalk in that area, and those areas will be replaced.
So in the places where the curb is interrupted or disturbed, it will be replaced? Yes.
And if Rick, you want to contact me, I can tell you, I can get a look at the plans and see, you know, where you're at and roughly, you know, the timeline of that, and if you're getting additional sidewalks as well. So just contact me and I can update you a little bit more.
Our next question is asking, will the infrastructure on the mapped areas still provide improvements or relief to non-project areas? So I guess this is a question of, will these water lines being replaced provide relief of some kind to adjacent areas? And they mention Eastern Allegra Road.
Yeah, to the degree that it improves overall water security and wastewater security, yes. If there are breaks that have been identified in the project area, it is going to improve your infrastructure security in that area. The question about relief, I'm not exactly sure, other than that maybe that's what the resident is asking. If that doesn't answer your question, please email me or call me, and we'll see if I can understand better what you're asking.
We have another person asking about the timeline for each block in advance. And so one thing I would encourage you to do, we did post the link to sign up for email updates. And on these projects, we typically send out email updates when the contractor is moving to a new section. If you are looking for, you know, your particular address, you can email Mike and he'll give you the best estimate. But sometimes the timing changes throughout the project, and sometimes even the sequencing has to change. So sign up for the email updates is a great way to know when the project's moving to new sections. We have someone saying, again, asking about the timeline for a particular street. They're moving into a home on Arcadia in early July. So I think emailing Michael would be good to kind of check in on that timing for your move. Let's see, are these all the questions we have posted? Oh,
There's
we have
one-
another.
no,
Yeah, I'll go ahead and publish this question. And then, will every area be worked on for 2 years, or is it phased? And if phased, approximately how long will each street be impacted?
Well, yes, not every area will be worked on for 2 years. It's kind of like it's phased. The contractor will generally start in a project area and then work a single utility line in a direction on that street. So not the whole area will be impacted for the full 2 years. And I think at most right now, there are only going to be at any given point 2 crews on site, and they're at opposite sides of the project area.
I'll have someone asking us to go back to the map, so I'll click back to that so folks can take a look. And this map is on the project website, so you can refer to it there, but I'll put that up for everyone to look at. And then we have a question. I know there have been multiple main breaks in Baja Brentwood, that's Woodrow, south of Koenig, for instance. Are there plans to continue rolling out improvements in infrastructure in the future? Do we want to kick that one to Ms. Kirk to answer, perhaps?
Yes, I think Deidre would be.
Okay, the Renew in Austin program is an ongoing program, so we cannot do all areas at once, but we do keep a record of where we have breaks, and we do adapt projects to those areas. So if you want to leave your information, we can see if there's a project currently in that is getting ready to address that area.
So if you want to just put in your email address in a comment, we won't publish that, and we can follow up with you to let you know if there's a project planned in the area that you mentioned. So I think there aren't more questions posted, but I wanted to see if anyone on the project team feels like there's any information that we want to review or that we kind of missed in the discussion. Is there anything you all want to emphasize?
I did want to, this is Deidre Kirk, I did want to let residents know that they can always call 311 if they can't remember the Austin Water dispatch number, and their calls will be routed to Austin Water as needed.
That's right. And I was just going to mention, just from working on other projects, you know, you will see these crews potentially in front of your property a couple of times. They'll be coming through to do the trench, to install the line, and then it will be patched over once the line has been inspected and fully put into operation. Then they will come back and put in the service lines. So they will be through a few times, and that's typical and to be expected. And Carlos, who spoke earlier, he will be in the field. It will be a daily presence, and so you will see him, and he's available by cell phone. And his role is really critical in this project to make sure the work is being done according to the specifications and to be a liaison to all the residents. And Carlos and all of his colleagues do a really good job of that around the city to make sure that these projects are having the least impact possible and that your questions are answered right there. He'll be answering his cell phone and talking to you if there's an issue going on. You won't have to go through multiple layers. So that's important for us to let you know about. And we have another question. Okay, so this person says, I see short link fences up in a few locations rather than boards around trees. What are those for? I guess that's some of the pre-work that's starting, some short fences in a few locations. Carlos, are you or Mike able to speak to that?
Yeah, those are part of the erosion and soil control We put those up basically to help protect the trees that we're going to be working around. That's probably what you've seen up, and that's just basically a way to protect those trees that have been called out of the plans to be protected. And so that's one of the first things that we do before we actually start working the streets. And also, I wanted to emphasize too, the schedule is, it's there. It's a bit of a soft science though, because there can be delays due to weather, or there can be engineering delays if we run into some issues that weren't anticipated. So I would just ask you to be patient with that schedule, and I will try to be as proactive as possible when in and around your neighborhood to let you know if we've had some changes to that schedule and how that's going to impact you directly. But also, like Emily said, feel free to call me. I'll be out there most every day, so I should be able to answer those questions at that time also.
I guess I'll do a last call with our project team. Is there anything else you all want to add?
There was another question asked.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I missed the beginning. Will you post a recording of this presentation?
And the answer is yes, that is our plan. And we believe that we'll be able to do that probably within about 2 days, I would expect. Okay, well, I think that we've done this, our first online public meeting. Thank you all for your patience and for joining in and for the really good questions. We like to be in the community face-to-face, but we know we can't do that right now. So reach out to us at our email addresses, our phone numbers, and we'll work with you during this project. And we're glad to be able to bring this improvement to your water and wastewater infrastructure. Thanks for joining.